Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal Steve Burton's current chapter in life has become a masterclass in balancing multiple high-pressure roles while maintaining an image of focus, discipline, and unshakable determination. As the face of Jason Morgan on ABC's long-running daytime drama General Hospital, Burton carries the weight of portraying one of the most recognizable and emotionally complex characters on daytime television. But his work doesn't end when the cameras stop rolling. Off-screen, he co-hosts the daily drama podcast alongside Bradford Anderson, his longtime friend and on-screen partner in crime as Damian Spinelli, engaging fans with behind-the-scenes insights, industry stories, and light-hearted banter that has become a weekly ritual for many devoted followers. In addition, Burton continues to nurture his personal brand through his weight loss and mindset coach program, a venture that not only promotes physical transformation but also focuses on mental resilience, a reflection of his own philosophy toward handling the demands of a fast-paced career. Juggling these commitments requires precision scheduling and relentless time management. His days are often a calculated puzzle of back-to-back filming sessions, podcast recordings, virtual coaching calls, and promotional appearances. Every gap between commitments becomes an opportunity to produce content or prepare for the next obligation. On set at General Hospital, he can often be found multitasking, running lines for an upcoming scene while simultaneously editing video for his coaching program or connecting with followers online. It was during one of these stolen moments that Burton posted a short video to social media, a seemingly casual update for his fitness and mindset followers. The clip, filmed quietly from the GH soundstage, was meant to promote his wellness program and encourage viewers to embrace both physical and mental discipline. Yet, as is often the case with anything connected to a soap opera star, it became more than it appeared. Fans, with eagle-eyed precision, noticed subtle details lurking in the background, details that seemed far too deliberate to be accidental. A dimly lit corridor stood behind him, its lighting oddly cinematic for a quick social media post. A prop bulletin board was partially visible, with several names written in black marker, some crossed out with heavy, deliberate lines. Off to the side, a fragment of a hospital room set could be seen, though its medical equipment appeared unusual. One piece looked almost weapon-like, its purpose unclear. Within hours, speculation flooded fan forums and social media threads. Was this an unintentional leak, or a calculated tease by the actor or the GH production team? Longtime viewers immediately tied the imagery to potential upcoming plotlines. Some believed the crossed-out names were part of a hit list tied to an organized crime storyline, perhaps suggesting Jason was about to find himself the target, or the executor, of a deadly mission. Others theorized the scene hinted at a hospital-based hostage situation, with Jason caught between loyalty to old allies and the moral cost of his choices. Adding fuel to the fire, a few sharp-eyed fans swore they recognized one of the crossed-out names as belonging to a character who had recently reappeared after years off-screen, reigniting rumors of a long-buried feud. Even more intriguing was the timing of the post. Just days after the show's head writer had teased an explosive arc that will redefine Jason Morgan's future, in an interview. Theories quickly grew wilder. Could Jason be facing betrayal from someone he's trusted for years? Was a long-forgotten enemy resurfacing to settle unfinished business? Might the mysterious prop in the background be a clue to an unconventional assassination attempt? The conversation became so intense that Burton's video, originally intended as a motivational message about health and focus, was now being dissected frame by frame like evidence in a criminal investigation. For Burton himself, this kind of fervent reaction is part of the job. His portrayal of Jason Morgan has always thrived in an atmosphere of danger, secrecy, and moral ambiguity, and any hint of upcoming trouble sends his fanbase into overdrive. But there's also a deeper, almost poetic overlap between actor and character. In many ways, Burton's real-life schedule mirrors Jason's constant state of vigilance and adaptability. Just as Jason must navigate alliances, threats, and shifting loyalties in Port Charles, Burton maneuvers through overlapping responsibilities, each demanding his full attention yet never allowing for a pause. The behind-the-scenes glimpse has now evolved into a kind of cliffhanger for both the fictional world and the audience's real-world curiosity. Was it truly an accidental leak? Or was Burton, and perhaps the GH production team, strategically feeding the flames of speculation to build anticipation for a storyline that will push Jason into uncharted territory? Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. The video has transformed a simple moment of downtime into a catalyst for feverish fan discussion, proving that in the world of daytime drama, even the smallest details can carry the weight of a plot twist. And as filming continues behind those closed studio doors, viewers know they're on the verge of a turning point. One where Jason Morgan may be forced to confront dangers that could alter the course of his life forever, both in the streets of Port Charles and in the hearts of those who have followed his journey for decades. Steve Burton is living through one of the most demanding yet dynamic phases of his professional career, a period where every minute counts and every role he takes on feeds into the next. Known to millions as Jason Morgan on ABC's General Hospital, Burton is not only the face of one of the most enduring and emotionally layered characters in daytime television but also a figure whose work spills far beyond the boundaries of the Port Charles soundstage. His schedule is a carefully constructed labyrinth of acting commitments, content production, and entrepreneurial ventures that keep him in constant motion, often blurring the line between the man and the roles he plays. Beyond the scripted world, he co-hosts the daily drama podcast alongside Bradford Anderson, the on-screen Damian Spinelli and off-screen collaborator, where the two share industry anecdotes, behind-the-scenes insight, and candid perspectives on life in the soap opera world. The podcast has become more than just entertainment. It's a lifeline for fans, offering a sense of intimacy and access to a universe they've invested in for years. Parallel to his entertainment career, Burton pours energy into his weight loss and mindset coach program, a personal passion project that reflects his philosophy on discipline, resilience, and the interconnectedness of physical and mental health. For him, it's not just about shedding pounds or following a workout plan. It's about rewiring how people see themselves, instilling habits that last, and arming them with the same mental toughness he has relied upon to juggle the demands of a relentless career. The duality of his existence means that his days rarely follow a predictable rhythm. Mornings may begin on the GH set, shift to a podcast recording session during lunch, move into a coaching webinar in the afternoon, and end with late-night script study for the following day's scenes. This intricate balancing act is only possible because Burton has mastered the art of using every available moment productively. Between takes on set, while makeup artists retouch his look or lighting crews reset the stage, he often retreats to a quiet corner with his phone in hand, editing content, responding to coaching clients, or recording snippets for his social media followers. It was during one such in-between moment that he captured a short video promoting his coaching program, speaking directly to his audience about the importance of staying focused, disciplined, and motivated. The video, just under a minute long, seemed on the surface like a routine update, yet the location where it was filmed set the internet ablaze. The clip was unmistakably shot on the General Hospital soundstage, but not in one of Jason's familiar hangouts. The backdrop was shadowed, a hallway set partially obscured by stage equipment, but certain details stood out sharply under the dim lighting. Fans with an eye for set design quickly noticed a bulletin board over Burton's shoulder. On it were several names written in bold, black marker, two of them crossed out with jagged, emphatic lines, as if someone in the fictional world of Port Charles had decided those individuals were no longer in play. Nearby, a stack of manila folders sat haphazardly on a counter, one partially open to reveal a single word in red ink, confidential. Even more intriguing, a piece of medical equipment was visible to the left of the frame, but it looked wrong, not quite functional, more like a disguised weapon or a prop intended for a scene with dangerous undertones. These were not details casual viewers might notice, but the GH fan base has never been casual. Within hours, the video was dissected frame by frame in online forums, social media groups, and fan-run YouTube channels dedicated to spotting upcoming plotlines. Theories exploded. Some believed the crossed-out names hinted at a hit list connected to one of the show's ongoing mob story arcs, possibly suggesting Jason himself was in danger or was being drawn back into a violent mission. Others thought the scene could be setting up a medical hostage crisis, with Jason caught between saving lives and confronting an enemy who knows how to exploit his weaknesses. The speculation deepened when a few sharp-eyed viewers claimed they recognized one of the names on the board as belonging to a character who had only just returned to the canvas after years away, reigniting the possibility of old grudges resurfacing. Even more provocative was the fact that Burton's post came just days after the showrunner had teased in an interview that Jason will soon face a choice that could destroy everything he's built since his return. The timing was too perfect for fans to believe it was coincidence. As the online conversation intensified, the video began to take on a life of its own. People debated whether Burton had intentionally included those background elements as a playful tease or whether they were accidental spoilers that had slipped past both the actor and the production team. Some argued that this was a classic soap opera marketing tactic, feed the audience just enough to spark frenzy without confirming anything, while others insisted the moment felt too organic to have been staged. Regardless of the truth, the result was the same: anticipation skyrocketed. Theories grew darker and more elaborate, from Jason being framed for a crime he didn't commit to him discovering that someone he trusted was orchestrating a series of eliminations in Port Charles. The weapon-like prop in the background became the centerpiece of several speculative storylines. Was it a medical tool adapted into a killing device, or a piece of advanced technology tied to one of the show's occasional forays into high-stakes espionage? For Burton, this level of audience engagement is both a testament to his influence and a reminder of the thin line he walks between his on-screen persona and his real life. Jason Morgan thrives in an environment of danger, shifting allegiances, and moral ambiguity. Burton himself thrives in the constant churn of deadlines, projects, and creative output. In both cases, adaptability is the key to survival. The small, seemingly insignificant decision to film that video on set has now become a cliffhanger in its own right, not just for the fictional Jason Morgan but for the millions of viewers who feel invested in every twist of his story. And so, as the cameras continue to roll behind locked studio doors, and Burton moves between his life as an actor, a podcaster, and a coach, the fans wait, parsing every pixel of that brief clip for hints of what's to come. Somewhere in the shadows of that dimly lit hallway, Jason Morgan's next trial is already taking shape, and if the clues in that background are to be believed, it may be the kind of storyline that pushes him to the very edge of loyalty, morality, and survival. The sudden appearance of a swelling on Steve Burton's forehead in a recent social media post has sparked an avalanche of speculation among General Hospital fans, igniting a debate that stretches far beyond casual curiosity. What might have been dismissed as a minor detail in any other context has become, in the tightly knit and ever-watchful soap opera community, a potential harbinger of seismic change for one of television's most enduring characters, Jason Morgan. The question at the center of it all is deceptively simple: does the injury belong to Steve in real life, or is it an intentional piece of makeup artistry for an upcoming GH storyline? The swelling is hard to miss, prominent enough to suggest a forceful impact, whether from a fall, a staged fight, or even an off-set mishap. In the absence of confirmation, two theories have emerged and hardened into opposing camps. One faction believes Steve may have suffered a minor real-life injury, perhaps during a workout or an accidental bump on set, choosing to film the video without concealing it. The other camp sees it as a clear in-character injury, the kind of detail that General Hospital makeup artists craft to set the stage for high-stakes drama. In the world of daytime television, both possibilities are entirely plausible, and therein lies the delicious uncertainty. Complicating matters further is the ambiguity of the video's timeline. Social media postings are notoriously misleading when it comes to chronology. Content is often filmed days or weeks before it is shared. This means that without knowing exactly when the footage was captured, fans cannot accurately predict when any corresponding scenes might air. Was the bump visible during the middle of a production day, suggesting it will appear in an episode soon? Or was it filmed during downtime, perhaps after a day off, making it unrelated to GH entirely? The lack of a concrete timeline has left fans combing through recent episodes, production stills, and other behind-the-scenes snippets to connect the dots. If this is indeed an injury for Jason Morgan, the implications are weighty. Jason's history with head trauma is well documented in the show's lore, stretching back to the fateful 1995 car accident caused by his brother A.J. Quartermain's drunk driving. That incident permanently altered Jason's personality, erasing the man he was and reshaping him into the stoic, calculated figure who became a central pillar of Port Charles. Over the decades, Jason has endured countless physical confrontations, gunshot wounds, and concussive blows, each one raising the specter of long-term neurological damage. For a character defined by his ability to stay in control under extreme pressure, a head injury is not simply a physical setback, it's a destabilizing threat to his very identity. The narrative possibilities are rich and varied. A visible injury could serve as the opening move in a new storyline where Jason's physical vulnerability exposes him to enemies eager to exploit any weakness. In one scenario, the swelling could be the result of an ambush, setting off a revenge arc that pulls Jason back into the darkest corners of Port Charles's underworld. In another, it could be tied to a high-speed chase gone wrong, with Jason sustaining an impact that leads to memory lapses or disorientation, forcing him to rely on others he isn't sure he can trust. The writers could even lean into the show's deep history, using the injury as an opportunity to revisit the consequences of Jason's 1995 trauma, exploring whether years of accumulated damage have left him more fragile than anyone, including himself, realizes. For devoted viewers, such a development would be loaded with emotional weight. Jason's resilience has always been one of his defining traits, a point of pride for fans who see him as an indomitable force. To watch him grapple with something as unpredictable and uncontrollable as a head injury would add layers of vulnerability to a character who rarely lets his guard down. It could also ripple outward, affecting his relationships with everyone from longtime allies like Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer to estranged figures who might see his injury as an opportunity to re-enter, or disrupt, his life. From a production standpoint, General Hospital has a history of planting subtle, almost subliminal teases in off-camera content. A well-placed background detail or a small physical change in an actor's appearance can be enough to send the fan base into a frenzy, all without revealing actual spoilers. In this case, the swelling could be deliberate misdirection, an expertly crafted piece of makeup designed not just for the show but for the meta-narrative of keeping the audience engaged between episodes. Burton's choice to post the video without explanation may itself be part of the strategy, letting the speculation run wild while the real answers remain locked behind the studio's closed doors. The conversation has already taken on a life of its own. On fan forums, some have analyzed the exact placement and coloration of the swelling, comparing it to known makeup techniques used in past GH injury storylines. Others have speculated about the plot directions that could stem from a head injury, pointing to the possibility of Jason awakening in the hospital to find key events have happened in his absence, or of him misremembering critical details in a way that shifts the balance of power in Port Charles. There's even talk that the injury could be tied to a larger, as yet unseen arc involving an antagonist capable of striking without warning. If this injury is more than a random bruise, it could serve as the linchpin for a storyline that blends physical peril with psychological tension, forcing Jason into a position where his strength is tested in new and unfamiliar ways. It could also be the catalyst for reshaping alliances, perhaps someone unexpected steps forward to protect him while others use the moment to undermine him. In a soap opera landscape where every wound can become a turning point, the implications are endless. Until the truth emerges on screen, the swelling will remain a visual riddle, one that keeps fans watching closely, not just for the moment Jason appears with it in an episode, but for every interaction, every reaction, and every possible hint that explains its origin. Whether it's a real-life mishap, a clever marketing trick, or the start of a major plotline, the fact that something as small as a bump on Steve Burton's forehead can command this much attention is proof of the deep connection between actor, character, and audience. In the intricate dance of reality and fiction that defines General Hospital, even the smallest details can open the door to the biggest stories, and right now, that door is standing wide open. The bruise on Jason's forehead was the first outward sign of trouble, but in truth, the chain of events that led to it had begun weeks earlier in shadows where no one in Port Charles was looking. The injury was passed off as a minor accident on the surface, just another cost of living in a city where violence often found its way into the lives of those who worked for Sonny or carried his protection. Yet beneath the surface, it marked the opening move in a game designed to dismantle Jason's stability piece by piece. It began in the Docks district, where a late-night meeting with a supplier was supposed to be routine.